And welcome again to Cottage Talk. I am Russ Goldman. This is our initial reaction to Fulham's 1-0 loss to Tottenham Hotspur at Craven Cottage on Monday night. Disappointing way to lose a match, and Harry Kane's goal was the difference. His quality was the difference. All it took was one opportunity, and he scored the goal. Fulham had their opportunities when they were up. They huffed and puffed, but certainly did not do enough to get something from this match. Full credit. My initial reaction is to give full credit to Tottenham for this victory. They certainly did enough to win the match, especially see the match out in the second half. So the way I look at it, you have to give credit where credit is due. But I think Fulham Football Club have a lot to be proud of. The supporters have a lot to be proud of. It shows we are not that far off from Tottenham Hotspur. Not that far off at all. But they got the goal that Fulham could not get. So in the end, Tottenham Hotspur, they deserve to get all 3 points. We'll just leave it at that. Before I go on any further, just want to mention, please do subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. It does help other Fulham supporters find us. So as I go through this quick 10 to 15 minute show, and many fans are probably upset. I know I'm upset. I'm disappointed. But I'm not disappointed by the effort of Fulham Football Club today. I thought they gave everything that they could. They came up against a team that just had that extra quality that they just didn't have. So let's just go through it real quick. And then, like I said, we'll have more shows talking about this. But I'm going to start off here. When you're on top, you have to take advantage of your opportunities. And Fulham were dominant for 30 minutes. But as I mentioned, they created some opportunities. But did they really hurt Spurs? And the answer would be probably not. So in the end, it shouldn't be a shock that Spurs scored this goal. Unfortunately, they scored it at the end of the first half. And it was a sucker punch. Let's just call it what it is. Harry Kane's goal in stoppage time in the first half was a complete and utter sucker punch. So that to me obviously changed everything. It changes everything because now you go in the second half and Fulham have to take it to Tottenham. And to be honest with you, Fulham have shown that they have struggled when teams play with three center backs. It happens again. They find a way to struggle against it. They can't find a way to get through it. And it showed itself against Tottenham Hotspur. It's unfortunate. And as I just mentioned, I will talk about it in just a few minutes, how they struggled to break down Tottenham in the second half. But in the first half, you got to say, like I said, for a good portion of the first half, Fulham were the better side. They truly were the better side. Harry Kane basically had nothing going on. Son, really not much going on. And Fulham really did a wonderful job for those first 30 to 35 minutes. And then all of a sudden you could see Tottenham getting into the match. And I had a feeling that things might go against Fulham at that point once they started getting into it. And like I said, it seemed like it wasn't this huge opportunity from Harry Kane, but he doesn't need a lot. And we talked about this on the preview shows. The thing that I feared the most, that my co-host feared the most, was that one moment from Harry Kane. And that's all it took. One moment. He's the difference in this match. He is absolutely the difference. Fulham have Alexander Mitrovic, and he is a great goal scorer. Harry Kane is as well. And he was the difference in this match. And then as we transition and we talk about the second half, I think this is where things really started to go downhill, because at this point, you're playing into the hands of Antonio Conte. He wants to counter. This is right up his alley. He wants his team to basically sit back and beat you on the counter with all that pace and what they have up front. And that's exactly what they did. They created a really good opportunity, a wonderful header from Harry Kane and a great save from Bernd Leno. But that second half, it was almost like a road to nowhere for Fulham. They could not break down Tottenham, and that is all the credit to Tottenham Hotspur. I'm not a fan of Tottenham Hotspur, but I have to give credit where credit is due. Fulham, in my opinion, were the better side in the first half, but they scored the goal. Second half, Tottenham Hotspur were very comfortable. Let's call it what it was. They were comfortable, so you have to give them the edge, and they deserve to get all 3 points. Sorry to say that. Not a fan of Tottenham Hotspur, but I'm just calling it like I watched it today. But I'm proud of Fulham Football Club because I know that they're not far off from beating a team like Tottenham Hotspur, Arsenal. Obviously, they beat Chelsea. They're not that far away. They just need that extra piece of quality to beat a team that Tottenham Hotspur has. We have it with Mitro, but it just wasn't his day. And that's all it took. That's all it took. In the second half, you just watch it and you're thinking, even if they had an extra half hour, Fulham weren't going to score. They just could not do anything. Made some interesting substitutions, brought on Tom Kearney. Nothing really changed. Did they look more threatening? Yes. Brought on Manor Solomon, brought on Harry Wilson, brought on Vinicius. All of these changes, nothing seemed to change. And if I'm being quite honest here, I put more of that on Spurs than I do with Fulham because they basically, Marco Silva threw the kitchen sink at him at the end, and they still look comfortable. So I'm just calling it like I see it. It's a disappointing way to lose, but I am really not that disappointed at all in how Fulham played. Fulham showed heart. Fulham showed that they belong to be where they are right now in the top 6. They might not end up there, but they're going to fight their way through it. They're going to learn from this. It just was not enough. And I'm just going to share this comment from Brian McCann. No cutting edge, better off the ball this evening. Yep, that's basically what I saw there, my friend. I do want to mention this comment because I thought Solomon did look bright, but we didn't see a lot of them, so it's really hard to judge. This is also from Sam. Kearney had some bad luck in transition. He did. He absolutely did. This is from my friend Steve Turner. We need to capitalize when we're on top possession-wise. Mitro needs more support. There's too much pressure put on him to do it every game. We need a new striker to support Mitro. Okay, well, I've heard the argument. I don't know. It's a fair argument after a loss like this when you didn't have the cutting edge and you could not find a way to get that quality opportunity to get that goal. Wayne Wallen says, Marco Silva will bring in more players in the January window. I believe that too, Wayne. And if I'm Tony Khan, if I'm Marco Silva, I look at this match and say to myself, what do I need? What do I need in the January window to get us over the top? Maybe Brian's right. Maybe Steve's right. Maybe we need a player that has more flair, has more cutting edge to go along with Mitra. Maybe we are missing that. And this is from Dave Cronin. Very lackluster tonight. Quality striker, the difference. Dave, that's why I called the show what I called it, because Harry Kane was the difference in this match. I don't think there's any other way to cut it. He was the difference. Fulham played hard. They threw everything at them, but in the end, Harry Kane was the difference in the match, and that's unfortunate. One other thing I do want to mention, and I'm curious if anyone's watching live, their thoughts on this, because I've seen some commentary on this. So I'm going to ask the question, how much did João Paulina's yellow card affect the match? And it's a good question. But you know what? He was aggressive throughout the match. But did he have to watch himself a little bit? I don't know. There were calls for him to get a second yellow. I completely disagree with that. But I think João Paulina gave it all that he had. I don't know if his yellow card truly affected the match, but it was unfortunate. It was just an unfortunate yellow, and he just needed to be careful after that. And I'm just going to share more comments. This is from Brian McCann. Before the Chelsea game, I predicted 3 to 4 points from the 4 games, Chelsea, Newcastle, Tottenham, Chelsea. Tonight, I had predicted a possible draw. Solomon just needs more time. Wilson offers little in the Prem. Well, we'll see. We haven't seen enough of Harry Wilson to see if he can really do it in the Premier League. He was coming off of an injury, so I still think we need more time on Harry Wilson, but I definitely want to see more of Manor Solomon. This is from Dave Cronin. Big time, saw him pull out of a few tackles after his card. So Dave thinks that the yellow card to Paulinho changed things. Okay, and I'm going to keep the comments coming. Chris Mulling says, very disappointing result, especially after the strong start and positive first half. Second half was all Tottenham, and we looked out of depth at time, running out of ideas. Chris, that's my point. They were very comfortable, and we did not have any answers for what Tottenham offered in the second half. And part of that, I do think, comes down to how Fulham play against three center backs. That formation, they struggle against it. They struggled again tonight. I thought what was the difference was the pressing in the first half, and they just couldn't do it in the second half. I think they ran out of steam. I think they basically, unfortunately, gave it all that they could in those first 30 minutes, and they just ran out, especially in the second half. And this is from my friend Kamal. What does he have to share? Oh, I'll share this from Carlton. Second half wasn't all Tottenham. They literally just parked the bus for 40 minutes in a 5-4-1. Okay, fair assessment there. Let's see. This is also from Steve Turner. We need a striker desperate. We need more firepower. We have the flying wingers in Robinson, Tete, BDR. We have the engine houses in midfield in Harrison, Reed, and Paulinho. We have a solid back four. Now a solid keeper. We have a solid midfield. We have one striker and too much pressure on that one striker, expected to do it every week in and week out. Fair point. Now I'll go to Kamal. From the Hammersmith end, Fulham seemed to dominate. Fulham played too much down the wings. There was little going down the center. Not enough service to Mitro. Frustrating night. Something not quite right in the engine. Still amazing atmosphere. Sub-zero temperatures, particularly. Roy Hodgson, Fulham forever. Award at halftime. I'm frozen. Sorry to hear that. Kamal, I'm glad that you mentioned the award for Roy Hodgson. Okay, let's see. What else we got? We got so many comments. This is from Dave Cronin. We haven't beaten any of the top five sides this season if we have only lost by the odd goal. Dave, it's a fair point. We have not beaten any of them, and it just shows we're this close. They have the quality that Fulham do not at this point. We don't have that quality to take us over that edge. We just don't, for whatever reason. Maybe Steve's right. Maybe we need more help, and we depend way too much on Mitro at this level. Maybe that is true. Let's see. And this is from Wayne Walden. Wilson needs more game time, and Solomon needs more game time too. Okay. Well, possibly. Very good. Okay. Well, listen, this has been a very disappointing night to be a Fulham supporter, but I'm not down and out. We move on. They gave it everything that they could on this night. Tottenham Hotspur with a better side. It's just as simple as that. See what Carl says. Our own pitch was the 12th man. We were like Bambi on ice. Okay, well, interesting comment there. All right, coming up next to end the show, please feel free to share who was your man of the match. Okay, so if you're watching live, I would love to hear who was your man of the match. Let's see. Dave Cronin's going with Anthony Robinson. I thought Anthony Robinson was good as well. Wayne Walden says Diop, man of the match. Steve Turner says BDR. Sam says Leno. Great save, by the way, from Leno. Carl Tanner says Robinson because he took a hit to the head and got right back up to keep fighting. Carl, that's a great point. So we have a bunch of comments for man of the match all over the place. Let's see. Brian McCann says Diop. Okay. Well, listen, this is a quick show of full time. I'll have more commentary on this. We'll have more thoughts. Maybe I'll have 5 takeaways from this match. We also have to talk about the transfer window coming up. But that's going to do it for this quick episode. I want to thank everyone that has joined me live on a disappointing night for Fulham supporters. But you know what? We move on. I'm proud of this side, and I know everyone is. It just wasn't our night. We'll just leave it at that. And I just appreciate everyone that's watching and listening to all of our episodes. I've given you a ton. I wanted to come on here right after the match and give you some commentary, and I did. So, as always, please subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. I'll be back soon. My name is Russ Goldman. Thank you as always for watching and listening to Cottage Talk, now part of the talkSPORT Fan Network.